What is going on, students? It's Devlin Cassidy, aka The Scholar, and I am back today now with another video. Finally was able to find the time to sit down and be able to look at what's been going on for the past 2 months with Vanguard, and I am very excited today to be covering the Springfest results for you all for the 2024 season. Before we get into it all, if you have not already, please go shop with Kingslayer cards. Use a promo code SCHOLAR, save 5% off on your order. It gets not only you cardboard, but it supports myself, my team, and one of the best stores in the game. So very appreciative of that, as well as we have a very huge $6,000 weekend coming up on July 20th and 21st down in Atlanta, Georgia. Please come out and win some serious money, as we are trying to have these bigger events be more of a mainstay here for Vanguard to give a more higher competitive incentive for the competitive scene of the game. So it's definitely something you don't want to miss. And then if you need any fly accessories at all for your gaming product, please go shop with Dank Ritual. They have a ton of pre-orders up right now on their website, as well as a lot of new and exciting accessories coming, so please go do that with them. But without further ado, let's get talking. So we're going to start with California here, and California was the BCS that did not include the Shiranui Hades that we're kind of in, right? And so as you can see, it's very diverse, and it's kind of a whole spread of decks. Youth Burke, pretty solid in here from the set 13 meta. The prison Minerva Willista is a shocker, because those were all decks that were better older. But hey, to each their own. Just pretty diverse top here. Nothing too much for me to comment on in terms of that yet. And then for the Tri format, we have actually something very interesting. We have Malkuth Melek for V, Mushi King for Standard, and Nubatama taking it in Premium. So very cool, because the Stride deck set stuff was not legal yet. So Nubatama sneaking the first place before the deck set stuff comes out may hint at what is some of the better decks of this format. But as you guys can see too, Gurgit for V, very mainstay, the best deck in the format by far. And then Highlander and Night Rose again. All the blue decks outside of Aquaforce are in pretty good positions between Highlander and Night Rose for premium. And as well as you have your Leonore and your Prism, your Magnolia Mask. So again, the standard meta is not too solved yet, but let's see what happens in the next event. So now we're at London, and London was the first event that was able to use the Shiranui deck sets and Luard, and as you guys can see, that there is a Shiranui on every single topping team, because this deck is crazy. Prisms also, though, is very good. I think that in terms of the standard format health, the standard's in a pretty healthy spot outside of the deck sets, honestly, because it's very diverse. There's a lot of very powerful decks that have all very good variants for the game. So I think that's why you can see the diverse ranges of topping that you do have inside this event. But again, sweeps of Shiranui, you have 2 Luards, you have Youthberk, Greedon, Zorga, Bastion, but then again 2 Prisms. So you're seeing here kind of what are going to be solidified as the best decks in the format for the standard format. But if we take a peek over here to Tri-Regulation, again, Shiranui is now being the picks for your singles, essentially. So how I look at Tri-Format is I say, okay, it's 3 different sets of singles for your format, so you're inclined to take the better decks. So that's why you're seeing Shiranui and Luard pop up. Zorga is still a very good tier 2-ish pick, because of, going second does the Persona Ride, gets a very big number with the Alchemagic skill, so your front row just gets really fat, and it's very hard to tank and guard. The big thing, though, here that's very interesting is the 3rd place Vanquisher. Shout out to them, and Chaos Breaker, and, Minerva here. So the premium format was pretty diverse. Very glad that wasn't too homogenized. But over here, we got Night Rose as well, which is another very good pick into the format. So now we have Houston, and the cool thing with Houston is that this is the first time we see Messiah really pop up in Standard. And it pops up here twice, which is really cool. But again, a full sweep of Shiranui, 1 on every team. And then you got 2 Prisms, 2 Messiah. You got the Luard here again. So again, Prisms, Luard, Shiranui is probably what you're going to see, because those are some of the better decks in the format. Youthberg, though, still pretty good. Second place was able to squeak it out there by having this deck be the Friends deck. But again, the crests are crazy. The crests are not well designed, but I'm going to be making a video covering that topic later. But again, nothing really too crazy here to stand out except for Messiah and Drajuld popping out here. And then for the try format, shout out to the homie with the hamsters. That is one of 2 confirmed tops with hamsters for this Springfest season. But this one is really diverse. But as you can see, we have 3 Nubatama in for premium, which is a crazy. V is all different. Raging Form here is another huge pick. And then I can't remember her name. I can't remember her name at all for the lyrical stuff. My apologies. But then this Luard list was also a crest Luard list for premium. So just being able to use the crest to scale and stuff like that is pretty interesting. But overall, very, very interesting results. Very diverse. You know, we always love to see great nature on top. But yeah, that's Houston for you, baby. So moving on into Toronto. Toronto becomes to introduce a little more variance. You see, like, again, 2 Prisms, 3 Shiranui, like best decks, right? But then there's more variance. So you have like the Drajuld, the good Lyrical Girl, Magnolia Mask, Luard, Full Blast, Prison. So again, just doing a bunch of different stuff. But then on for the try format, shout out to SCG Transatlantic for topping. Some of my good online friends are there, so this was very cool to see. But the big highlight here is that if you take a look in the center column, then all the decks are the same. It's all Shiranui. It's a full sweep. V, 2 Gurgit, 1 Anj, and then 1 Luard. Anj, I think, is a good sleeper pick, low-key. I think it's like the 4th best deck of the format, if you really want to talk about things. And Crow did really well with it, but we'll get to his results here later. And his interview is coming out tomorrow, so please stay tuned for that. But we have a lot of heroes. You know, Mega Colony seeing that against 2 Night Roses is a little tough, but yeah, you know, Nuba was squeaking it out there. So yeah, there's Toronto. Now we move on into Australia for Melbourne. So again, full sweep of Shiranui outside of 2nd place. But this one's pretty diverse. You know, you have the Jiva. You have, I can't remember his name either, but this was the Keter Sanctuary guy. Leonor comes back. Mushi King comes back. 2 Bastion actually is pretty crazy. So pretty interesting to see that these decks are back for Standard. And that Standard is still at a pretty healthy spot because of all these decks that are being brought up through the metagame, man. So we're killing it. And then for try format, this one insanely diverse. Big thing I want to highlight here is the Granjoral Dragon and the Raging Form Premium, as well as NLK showing up. I think NLK gets slept on just because they don't play their History Collection stride, and like the deck is very like, if you hit it, you hit it. If you don't, you don't, like kind of high roll, and there's like good play into it to deny your opponent getting there. So I mean, there's a lot of factors that will determine if NLK is his day or not, right? But I mean, to each their own. The deck's still a lot of fun, but necessarily wouldn't have been my pick for the format. But again, like 2 Nubatama, you know, Anj, Thavis, like these 3 make sense. The Grandrol's kind of out of nowhere, but again, pretty cool to see that, you know, even random decks from your clan collections are still going crazy. So moving on into Spain. Spain was like Stride decks at City, as we see. Chronojet is at 1st place, Luard at 2nd. Luard at 3rd, and then there's no deck sets for 4th. But again, Shiranui essentially just stating, hey, I'm the best deck. Luard follow closely, and then pretty diverse again around Zorga, Prisms, all that stuff. The cool sweep here, again, I don't know. I know this is Kyrie, I know this is Leonor. I have no idea who this girl is because I don't pay the attention to lyrical Monasterio cards, but it is what it is. But for the try format, again, very diverse. Victor, Katrina, Highlander, and Grand Blue all here. 2 Nubatama though. The Jewel Knight is pretty interesting to see. The Jewel Knights is a very good road deck. You know, 2 Anj popping up with the Night Rose at the 2nd here. So now moving on into Puerto Rico, we have standard here. Puerto Rico is always like the weird event to me, low key, just because like the sample size is very small. In addition to having stuff be like very diverse. As you guys can see here, like there's 2 Shiranui, 2 Luard in the entire top, what is technically 12. So to each their own, and then everything's just kind of random. Like the Prisms is there, but then like B Heroes, these 2 Keter decks. Like I don't think Kyrie is all that, even though I think they got the one, I think it was a grade 3 or a grade 2 that's really good for them. Pacifica's meh, personally, from what I've seen, but it be what it be. Tri format though, very interesting. You have Harry, which is one of my favorite decks. Ghidorah, which is one of my favorite decks. Tachi is always a home favorite for me. But again, full sweep of Nui, Thavis, 2 Gurgit, and then the VSR is also another interesting pick here. So that's pretty cool to see. But turning around and just being able to show out with Bugs here for the second place finish is very good. So congratulations to you all down in Puerto Rico. So now we have Mexico, and again, just pretty diverse. That's what I feel bad about Latin America, is like they get stuck like in a certain like format. So maybe the regions was delayed in terms of receiving the Shiranui product, because like you have Doji, you have like a lot of Leonore and a lot of like full black. Like you have a lot of the decks from set 13 that were really good, and then not really like so much of like the modern decks outside like the Prism and the Shiranui. And the yeah, because you still have like Mushin King, Jet, Shotodoji, yeah, like all this stuff. So very interesting as like a little like time capsule locked thing. Like they were legal, but I guess people just didn't have the cards. That's what I can speculate from that. But this is like a pretty oddity in terms of the event. And then for tri format, Drajuld, Shiranui, Luard, and Prism here for your standard. Shout out to the homie with Leopold. Again, Gurgit sweep, as we've stated, like Gurgit's the best deck, hands down. And then you got Angel Feather, Ghidorah, Jewel Knights, and then Night Rose here for your other top 4 spots. Again, Night Rose clutching that out, so good job to there. Jumping on into Manila, again, Shiranui full sweep. 2 split on Prisms. And again, we see a lot of this like flavor team here in first place do a lot of topping because I think, again, those are the 3 most solidified best decks of the format. But again, like there's good variance here throughout the rest of this. So I'm perfectly content where the state where standards at, especially with like the Divine Z meta coming out. This should be perfectly fine to be handled. For tri format, again, 2 Prisms, 2 Nui, Jet. Ooh, okay, so Jet is a very interesting V choice. Jewel Knight's very interesting. You have like only like 2 real meta decks. Then you got Steam Mains, Katrina, Ghidorah, and Night Rose here. So shout out to Ghidorah getting the first place. You know, finally like Green Nation stand up. We have a Katrina, we have a Bugs. Unfortunately, though, we won't have a Great Nature because I would have already done a video on it by now had I saw that Great Nature got first place at the Springfest. Because shout out. For Vancouver, we got again 3 Nui, 3 Luard, 4 full Prism sweep. Again, though the recipe Prism, Luard, Shiranui getting a lot of first places here this event in this season. So I mean, if for White Plains and for Rosemont that are coming up for the folks in the States, maybe that's your recipe to success. Who knows? And then tri format. Oh, cool, full Shiranui sweep. Shiranui with the different ride line. And then we got Nubatama, Highlander, Katrina, and Night Rose. So decks that I said we're going to win Worlds. So, because we haven't had a ban list. So I'm completely fine with that. Shout out to the Revan sweep. That is actually fire. And then 2 of the good old Gurgit and the Anj for V. So nothing really too crazy here happening. So makes sense. Then we got Bulgaria, and Bulgaria has some limited information here. Again, shout out Fuzzy Paradox for all these amazing graphics. He does phenomenal work for the community. I appreciate what he does so much. It's not even funny. And so I'm really glad that he's being able to continue to do this and grind all of this out. But first place is very interesting. Again, full Nui sweep. We get again a top 3. Like a top 3 finish is still pretty good. Considering like what you have to play into. But what I want to highlight here specifically is this. Fine. I want to know what the heck this was for Dave. Because Dave Vecht played that list. That list is absolutely fire. Very, very different. And I may make a personal video just trying to highlight the list and try to get into his mind about that, because that list was very interesting. It was very cool to see that list in general just be popped off here with like all the bouncing and the recall control. It's just very, very cool. It just plays like really defensively, really tanky, but nothing too out of the ordinary for V here. Like you have your top 5 decks just being represented. Orphis, Thegria has a really cool show up here too. But yeah, Bulgaria holding it down. And then the one that you have all been waiting for, Springfest Duluth. And as you guys see, baby, Kingslayer cards did it for Standard Day. Shout out to Ryan, Richard, and Will. They were killing it all day, and they took the deck sets because they thought the Stride decks were the best decks in the game, which I don't blame them because the crests are crazy. And as you can see here, for the most part, everyone took a Shiranui. Shout out to the Cats 8 Pizza Rolls for not like having a true meta deck and getting third. That is absolutely fire. We do love the Rogue runs. And then showing up is Greedon, Leonord, and the other Lyrical Girl. So very cool. But we got the run back because Crow, Will, and Ali got first for the tri-format day. And this day apparently was insane. So the big thing here is that Ali got it with the Leader Messiah, Crow on Anj, Will on Shiranui, 2 other Shiranui in the top format. Also shout out to my other teammate Kalen, who played with his friends, who got 4th on Hamsters for V. So I mean, this is getting even more crazy, right? We got 2 Gurgits in the top 4. We have a Mega Colony here, which Ali said I should have tested more into that matchup, which you already know. I would have given him the free smoke. But again, the congratulations to everybody here. But the big one here too is like the Grand Gallop. I heard he was like swinging like raw, really fat numbers, like somewhere in like 130 before like Laurels and stuff. Like it's like insane numbers I was hearing from stories. And then Katrina here. Still very, very well and covered. But again, shout outs to all my Kingslayer card homies that held it down this past weekend and did a really, 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 really good job. But with that being said, man, that's Springfest so far. Let me know what you guys are going to think is going to take White Plains and Rosemont. I would really love to hear your all's thoughts in regards to that as I continue to come back and make content for this game that I love. And I hope you guys are appreciating the little niche changes to the channel as I try to get more content rolling out. Please stay tuned for Crow's interview that is releasing tomorrow, because we get to really go inside like the day of tri-format and kind of what that looks like from a participant's perspective. So I think that's a very good site for those like myself that didn't get a chance to participate this year. But with that being said, if you want to stick around for all of that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful rest of your week. I love you all, and take care.
Stay with me.